Hey, it's John and Mike, brew-dudes.com. And how are you doing? It's 2017, and we've got two big stouts here in front of us. Big stouts, not cucumber stouts. Sorry. Still working on that recipe. Just making sure that InBev knows what we're working on.
Cucumber stout.
These are stouts, and I'd like Mike to taste them. One spoiler alert, these are actually they came from the same fermentation. They were bottled at the same time. Oops, maybe I've given away too much. But even though the glasses are different, there's certainly a little bit of a difference between the appearance of this beer versus this one. And then also a difference in taste. I was tasting it over the holiday break. Both types of stout here in front of us. And I thought to myself, this is something I should bring to the YouTube channel, bring to Mike to taste, and have him experience it and think about what he's tasting here. And then we'll have a discussion, and hopefully you, the viewer, will have a little lesson as well. So, all right. So you've tasted Stout A. You've tasted Stout B. What's your thoughts on Stout? Which one did you taste first?
I can go. We'll go A. We can start with A.
We'll start with A. What's your thoughts on Stout A? I'll drink while you're talking about Stout A.
Well, first thing I want to say, it smells heavenly here.
Does it?
Just the both of them sitting here, I'm getting a lot of. Before I even started tasting, I'm getting a lot of cocoa and like coconut aroma coming out of both beers together. I mean, that's tremendous. So beer A, I definitely get a little coconut off of beer A, the aroma, and but this beer tastes pretty big.
Yeah.
This tastes like a big stout. It's a little bit sweet. It almost tastes like a milk stout. There's definitely some, milk chocolate aroma and coconut coming off of there. The aroma's divine. The mouthfeel is medium heavy, but in a pleasant way. There's just a little bit of a bitterness now coming through in the palate, on the top of my palate. Not on my tongue, but I can taste some hops in there. Just like some bitterness. But it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good stout. It's a solid stout. Fermentation's pretty clean, I think. And, yeah. Oh, it's just killer. This one, can I jump to this one now?
Yes. That's B.
This one, slightly more vegetal presence. Actually, I'm getting a little bit more of an alcohol nose on this one. Not so much of the coconut or the cocoa, just more of a dark bread, and the alcohol is there.
And do you pick? I'm going to put words in your mouth. All right, I'll stop.
This one is drier.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
and smoother, and it tastes a little lighter, but the total flavor profile isn't as complex as this. If I just had this beer without tasting that one, it would still be pretty damn good. Now I'm getting a little bit of cocoa. Not so much of the coconut. A little bit of the cocoa. And there's almost like a caramel malt character coming through in this one a little bit more. Like maybe a Munich-y flavor in the back of this one that I don't really get here. Because this one's so much stronger coconut chocolate. This one's just got a little bit of a grainy crystal 80 sweetness thing going for it.
What about roast?
Roast level.
Do you feel like this is roastier than this?
Oh man, it's drier.
Maybe that's what I'm detecting.
The roast quality might be a little sharper here than it is here. Because this one's just feels bigger and tastes bigger, which might be softening the roast character. If I was to assume they were the same malt bill for both beers, yeah, this one's a little rounder and the roast character is a little bit firmer, harsher on this one. It's not harsh, but it's more aggressive.
Okay. Okay. So let me reveal a few things.
Okay.
Number one, you've actually had this beer before. We've actually tasted this beer on camera before.
Okay.
This is the outcome of the Russian Imperial Stout that I brewed a while ago.
Beautiful.
I missed that starting the original gravity that I wanted. I wanted to get like 10. We'll have to review that video.
Okay.
But that was a big disappointment. I used all this malt, and you have to figure out that even if you have a 10-gallon cooler, you're not going to be able to do a 24 mash with 24 pounds of grain. So that was a big lesson. Now, this is the same beer. I bottled all 5 gallons of this batch at the same time.
Yep.
But one, after it carbonated in the bottle, I put it in my fridge. This stayed at cellar temperatures for the majority of its lifespan between, I think I actually brewed this in March of 2015. So this is almost 2 years old.
Wow.
I believe that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was bottled probably in May 2015.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So this was in the basement, and I have a small corner in my basement that stays around 50 to 60 degrees Fahrenheit. It's still that range, but this stayed in the fridge, and then I procured a wine fridge that keeps things around 50 degrees. So then once I was tasting, I think like once we tasted, I had this feeling like the one that was sitting at cellar temps was not aging the same way as this puppy was. So I took all my remaining bottles and put them into the wine fridge, and things have stayed pretty stable. I think that if Stout B stayed at cellar temperatures, I would have had beer bombs. Because this certainly continued to ferment.
There was a lot of foam in this guy.
Yes, this continued to ferment in the bottle as time went on, and I don't think it's infected. I don't think that there's some kind of weird bacteria. I don't know, some kind of I think it just continued to ferment.
I think it's dried itself out a little bit more,
and so that's why this is so. The body is heavy and it's creamy and luxurious, and this is sort of thinning out.
But it's subtly thinner. I mean, it's not drastically so. It's noticeably so.
I think,
but it still has plenty of mouthfeel.
Yeah, and it has a lot of fizz. I think that it's the fizz that's making me feel like.
The interesting thing is, the more when I plow my nose into this one, it's like milk chocolate, like you know what it is? It's chocolate milk is what it is, right? With a nice coconut background.
Yep.
Like fresh coconut, not toasted coconut, just fresh coconut. This one is still good, but it's more of a toasted coconut, a roasted coconut, with a milk chocolate aroma. And the more I sniff on this one, my eyes are like water a little bit because I'm getting the booze off of it. Right?
Yeah.
It's definitely probably picked up like a percentage point or something of ABV. Again, if you just gave me this beer,
you'd dig it?
I would dig it. It's fine. I wouldn't be like, oh wow, it's amazing. But it's just one beat off of amazing. But this beer, just the aroma alone, it's just settled into a zone right now that cocoa and chocolate in this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then the body, when you drink it, really just says Imperial Stout, without being overly boozy. Or if it is just as boozy, it's hiding it well.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is much boozier. I get like an alcohol warmth off of drinking this. Now, so what's the big thing I learned? One, I think that
buy more fridges.
Yeah, you need a lot of fridges.
We need more fridges.
I think that next time I do this, and I am going to brew an Imperial Stout again. I think I have to figure out when I do it, probably in the springtime, so that I have something to give as gifts again in the holiday season for 2017. But after it carbonates in the bottle, just stick it in a fridge. Now that I have that wine fridge, I can stick it there. But I like the way that this aged. The sad thing is, I believe this is the last bottle So let's let's cheers to that. So you've had this. We've had this over the
Yeah,
course
but this
of,
is tremendous now.
Yeah, well, there you go. Then we have this. So again,
So I guess the moral of the story is, brew an Imperial Stout, pull aside 8 bottles that you're willing to drink now,
Yep.
but definitely sock away a case and just wait a year,
Yeah.
right? Cold temperature, whatever.
Yep.
But there's definitely some improvements to come with time
Yep.
in beers like this.
Yeah, and I mean, even like what I read about this style, if you read Brewing Classic Styles,
Yeah.
the guy even says, this is good 1 to 3 years after you bottle it. Make sure you store it at cold. I think he wanted to store it at like 50 degrees. I mean, that to me wasn't possible at the time
Sure.
that I bottled it.
Yep.
It was either refrigerator temps, which is like 33, 34 degrees Fahrenheit, or what I had in the basement, which in the wintertime I can keep it, I can maintain it, but in the summertime things fluctuate. And I think that's what happened. I mean, if you think I bottled in May, I put it somewhere in the basement. It probably was in the mid 60s for a good 3-4 months, and that's when things started to progress in a way that I didn't want. But this one I love. I definitely love, and I next time make sure that I hit my original gravity and then stick that away. I think your plan is spot on. Like I'd probably drink like 8 bottles or so.
Yeah. Just because it's important to see it, and then because then 2 years later, when you crack one open, you can say, "Oh, this beer has gotten better," right?
Yep.
I'd hate to hold on to a full batch of beer for 2 years and I wouldn't hate it, but to have it be great and wonder, when did it get great, and should I have drank some like last New Year's?
Yeah.
But
all right. So this may not be the last bottle of it, but there are 2.
the last bottle you're sharing.
That's right. The other 2 I'm putting in the competition, and we'll see how those go.
Hello.
So that's what I got. All right. So that's again.
Thanks for sharing.
Yes, you're welcome. These are things that I like to share. I wish I could share with more people, but I only do the YouTube channel with this guy. But at the same time, the knowledge is what we're trying to share. And big styles like this, I think, certainly if you're bottle conditioned differently under different temperatures. At least I have proof, evidence right here in front of me that the same batch bottled and stored at different temperatures produced something pretty different. I wouldn't say completely different, but pretty different a couple years later. So that's what I got. Hope you liked it. Right?
Right.
All right. So for John and Mike, brew-students.com. Hope you learned something. And of course, we'll always brew on.
Cheers.